Welcome back. It's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. Today from Mattel, in their Top Picks Must-Have Superstars main event series, we are featuring L.A. Knight. Yeah. Okay, so this is a figure I've been on the hunt for such a long time. It's pretty much any L.A. Knight figure. L.A. Knight's one of the hottest superstars in WWE for the last 2 years, and his figures I've never seen in the wild, not once. So when I came across this, I immediately swooped in and picked it up, and it looks great. You know, I really want to get one of the Elite figures, because, you know, with the extra accessories and better articulation, but for now, I'll just settle for the core basic figure. And it works, you know, even though he's missing his trademark vest. You know, his gear is very basic to begin with, and the figure itself just looks awesome. The package design is nice. Yeah, the main event logo on the upper right. It belongs to the Top Picks. It features a new articulation scheme for 2024. Nice portrait of LA Knight. His signature move is the excuse me, I'm like coughing up here. Is the BFT. He's listed as Brawler. And other figures include Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins. Alright, so before he was with NXT, before he was with WWE, before Maximum Male Models, I knew LA Knight as Eli Drake back when he used to work Impact. And there's this awesome interview he did on one of the podcasts. I can't remember if it was Chris Jericho or Stone Cold's. And it was such an insightful look at who he was and his background. And I think one of the most fascinating things I found about him is that he kind of talked about how he did voiceover work for some of the video games. And I think he did in some of the games, he'd do the voiceover work for The Rock. Since if you close your eyes and listen to LA Knight, he sounds like The Rock some of the times, and it's kind of nuts. So I kind of found that really fascinating. And then when he got moved up, and then when he got into NXT, I was kind of expecting him to get this giant push, kind of like what EC3 had at the time. But I kind of felt like it didn't really happen. And then it took some work before he really like skyrocketed when he got to the main roster. I liked Maximum Male Models, but I think it's more so because I thought Mace and Mansoor were just so funny. And you could kind of tell that underneath the gimmick, there was the frustration, which I think kind of led to him just like really breaking the wall and just, you know, obtaining that kind of level of superstardom where he's at right now. And I think he's a great performer. Great in-ring worker, you know, so LA Knight's the complete package in my opinion. All right, so let's take a look at this figure. All right, so we have LA Knight. And I think the head sculpt, you just have to nail it with him. You know, he has so much charm and personality. He's so motivated, full of gumption. You really need to capture that in the facial expression. And I think for the most part, it kind of works. The smirk looks a little bit more goofy than it looks badass. And he definitely feels more badass than goofy. At some angles, it kind of almost looks like The Miz, which kind of throws me off. And even though he's on the newer body with the updated articulation, one thing we've seen with some of these figures in the basic series is that sometimes their necks are too short. I have a Cody Rhodes figure, and it kind of suffers from the same problem where the neck looks just a hair bit too short. And I kind of feel like that's the case here too. I kind of feel like his head could probably rest a little bit higher. You know, they kind of fall a little bit too flat, and then it makes his upper torso look a bit more squat than it should be. But otherwise, the sculpting is really well done. The paint application is nice, very clean printing around the eyes. I like the beard and the stubble effect. It's not overly done. The musculature on the body is nice. You know, it's cleanly defined, really well executed. You know, you can see that both on the back muscles and on the front. LA Knight's cleanly printed on his gear. He has the elbow pad. And the elbow pads are kind of it's like the knee pads are kind of thick, so it kind of like prevents proper articulation. You don't get the bend as much as you'd like. He has the painted on wrist tape. He has knee pads, and again, even though the knees are articulated, the core basic figures, they're kind of stiff and hard to bend. They almost feel like they're gonna break. Clean printing for the logo on the boots, and it's nice that they gave him the duo colored soles with the white and the red. And then he has the LA Knight on the top of the cuff of the boot. And it's a great figure. It is a basic figure, so the articulation isn't going to be as advanced as the Elites or the Ultimates. You're not going to get a whole lot of posability, but the articulation that is afforded is nice. But like I mentioned, keep in mind some of the joints are a bit tight, especially like in the elbows and the knees. These are really hard to bend. I always feel like I'm going to break the figure, but they do bend. I do love the new hip articulation because it allows more movement. You can kick outward and upward. So overall, I think it's a great looking figure. It does the one thing that kind of seems kind of odd though with the newer body is that the briefs, they almost look more like Speedos than proper wrestling briefs, But it is what it is. So overall, it's a fantastic looking action figure. If you're on the hunt for an LA Knight action figure, and if you can't find the Ultimate or Elites, for now you're gonna have to settle for these basic figures, and it's not a deal breaker either because these are pretty affordable at anywhere between $9 to $11. And I think they're just fantastic. And if you have little ones, these are the figures you want them to play with because they're very durable for the most part, and they're just awesome. So, all right, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.